I don't even know how to start this without feeling like my chest is caving in. For 10 years, I've carried a weight that has made me hate myself more than I can explain. For 10 years, I believed I caused my sister's accident, that I was the reason her life was destroyed, and that my parents could never look at me the same way again. For 10 years, I accepted the blame, the anger, the silent treatment, and the way every holiday felt like a funeral because of me. And it turns out none of it was true. Back when I was 16, my sister was 14. We were typical siblings, fighting one second and laughing the next. She was my best friend, even if I never said it. That summer, our parents trusted me to drive her to the movies. I had just gotten my license, and I was proud but nervous. On the way home, it happened. A car slammed into us. My side was mostly fine, just bruises and cuts. My sister wasn't. She took the worst of it. She survived, but her body was never the same. She couldn't walk for almost a year, and even now she lives with daily pain. At the hospital, I remember waking up and hearing my mom crying in the hallway. My dad's voice was sharp, filled with a rage I'd never heard before. The first words I clearly remember were, "This is your fault. You should have been paying attention." At first, I thought he meant the other driver, but when I looked at him, he was staring at me. My mom wouldn't even meet my eyes. That was the beginning of my sentence. For the next decade, they made sure I never forgot. Every fight, every disappointment, every mistake I made was tied back to that night. I was grounded longer than normal for small things. If I stayed out late, my mom would say, "Haven't you already done enough damage?" Birthdays were tense. Holidays were worse. When my sister cried in pain, my mom would glare at me as if I'd twisted the knife myself. I tried to apologize more times than I can count. I begged them to forgive me, even though I didn't remember what I had supposedly done wrong besides driving. They said I was distracted, maybe texting, maybe playing with the radio, maybe showing off. They were never clear, but the story was always that I caused it. I accepted it. The guilt ate me alive. I stopped trying in school because what was the point? I drank too much in college to shut my brain off. I dated people who treated me like garbage because deep down I thought that's all I deserved. Every time my sister winced when she stood up or cried out when her back spasmed, I thought, that's on me. She never said it out loud, but she didn't defend me either. We drifted apart, and I thought she secretly hated me. Then 2 months ago, while helping my parents clean out old boxes from the garage, I found an envelope that changed everything. It was a folder with accident report written on it. My stomach dropped, and my hands shook as I opened it. I wasn't supposed to see it. I could tell from how it was shoved between tax papers. Inside was the official police report from that night. And in black and white, it said the other driver was 100% at fault. He'd run a red light at nearly 60 miles per hour. Multiple witnesses confirmed it. It even stated I had no fault assigned. I wasn't distracted. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't responsible. I don't even know how to explain the mix of emotions that hit me. Relief so sharp it hurt. Rage that made my face burn. Grief for the version of myself I lost over the last decade. I sat on that cold garage floor and cried harder than I have in years. I read the report over and over again, making sure I wasn't misinterpreting it. 10 years of hell, 10 years of shame, 10 years of being treated like a criminal in my own family, and none of it was true. When I confronted my parents, everything exploded. I walked into the living room, report in hand, and slammed it on the table. I asked them why. Why did they lie to me? Why did they make me carry something that wasn't mine? My mom went pale. My dad's jaw tightened. For a second, I thought they'd admit it. Instead, my dad said, "You wouldn't understand. We needed someone to blame." That was the climax of my entire life. Hearing my own father say that like it was a reasonable explanation. Like destroying my self-worth was a parenting strategy. My mom started crying, saying they didn't know how to process what happened to my sister, that they were scared and angry and they couldn't bring themselves to hate the man who hit us because he was just some stranger. So they put it on me. Their son. The one who survived too easily, the one who walked away. I felt like the room was spinning. All I could say was, "Do you know what you've done to me?" I listed every way I had suffered, every time I had thought about ending my life because I couldn't stand the guilt. My dad sat there stone-faced. My mom sobbed, but it wasn't the kind of crying that meant she understood. It was the kind that begged me not to make her feel worse. My sister was in the kitchen and heard everything. For the first time in 10 years, she looked me in the eyes and whispered, "I never hated you. I just didn't know the truth either." That moment nearly broke me. She had spent 10 years believing what they told her to. She suffered thinking her big brother had ruined her life. We lost our bond because of their lies. 10 years of a relationship stolen. I hugged her and cried into her shoulder, and it felt like some part of me was alive again, but also so deeply broken. Since then, I've gone no contact with my parents. I can't even bring myself to answer their texts. They've tried calling me, saying they're sorry, that they were only trying to cope, that they didn't know how else to handle it. But how do you forgive something like that? How do you forgive being scapegoated for a decade? I'm in therapy now, finally, and my therapist says it'll take a long time to heal. I believe her. I keep thinking about the younger version of me, the 16-year-old who carried a guilt he didn't deserve. I want to tell him he wasn't a monster. I want to hug him and tell him it wasn't his fault. But I can't. I just have to move forward with the truth now, with my sister slowly letting me back into her life, and with the knowledge that my parents chose their own comfort over my sanity. I don't know if I'll ever forgive them. I don't know if I even want to. What I do know is that I'm done carrying a weight that was never mine.